Now, Wave News Sunrise.
Good morning to you. Maybe you're wondering, oh, how am I going to entertain the kids today, right? Because so many are still out of school. But going outside may not really be a great option.
No, if they can go outside, maybe limit that time outside because it is very, very cold and we're not going to be above freezing. Inside reading the book is not too bad either. That's what I used to do as a kid, and I turned out just fine. But yeah, no, we're continuing.
Good for you. I wish I could have my kids do that.
Oh, I was best friends with my librarian. That should tell you a lot about me. But what we're seeing right now across the area, those temperatures in the 20s for most of us are cold spots. Salem and Seymour, both of those spots in the teens as of right now. The storm tracker out on the roads, and we are seeing things looking pretty good. Pretty sure they're on Dixie Highway right now and not dealing with any issues there. We're continuing to keep an eye on some of those clouds trying to clear along 65, and for those of you further to the west, that's going to try to drop our temperatures in more of those spots where we see some of that clearing, but the clouds will return as we get into the afternoon. Let's talk about our temperatures for today. Seeing some of those 20s and upper teens to start off the morning, getting into the afternoon, mid to upper 20s for afternoon highs. So we're going to climb, but not very far because of those clouds rolling in. Plus, any sunshine that we would have seen today, or that we do see today, will go towards really melting the snow, not so much warming up the temperature. So in terms of your what to wear forecast, the jacket, the sunglasses, the coat will be very helpful. The weather app is also very helpful for today as we track those warming temperatures, and we talk about some more snow coming our way for Friday and potentially into very early on Saturday, Olivia.
All right, Tawana, I'm going to take it first. That's okay. Boy, I'll tell you what, interstates, so much better. This is a live look right here at I-264 at Westport Road. Huge improvement from yesterday. Transportation leaders say you still need to look out for ice if you're heading to work this morning or need to run an errand. In many areas, it's the side roads that could have the issues. The Louisville Metro Snow Team has been treating 2,700 miles of roads that are a part of Louisville's snow route. Now, all those purple lines on the map, that means that the road has been salted as well as plowed. And then those few green lines that you see, it means that the road's been treated with salt. Josh Ninke is in the storm tracker this morning showing us how it is and how is it?
It's really not bad. We were just on the Waterston on our way here to Dixie Highway where we're at right now. You can see the road conditions here on Dixie Highway are really nice. They've done a great job of plowing and treating, and the interstate overall very good as well. Some of the on-ramps might take you a little bit longer than you might expect, but that's honestly the only thing. Let me get the roof cam here to show you. But again, while the main streets are fine, some of these side streets need perhaps a little bit more attention from you when you're actually trying to get out on the road today. There's lots of, as streets have been plowed, build up on the sides of the roads for where cars might be kind of iced and plowed in, because again, it is very icy out there. These main roads have been treated very well, but wherever you're at in your neighborhood, I can almost guarantee you're going to have a bit of trouble trying to get out. But we spoke to some folks who've been trying their best to get out and say this is some pretty rough weather they've been experiencing.
This is crazy. I came in the winter storm of '94, so yeah, and I was in Converse and stuff, and it was not an awesome. You see, I've upgraded to boots this time.
Yep, so obviously you definitely want to still be cautious heading out today. If you haven't had your car out yet, reminder that, yeah, it's going to be kind of tough out there because there's a good coating of ice on all of your vehicles. So please make sure to take off all of that ice and snow before you head out. Now, we're going to keep checking out the Metro, letting you know what else you can experience. Again, hopefully things have been very good for these main thoroughfares. I hope that's the experience that you have this morning. But please, if you don't have to get out, stay home. Live here in the Storm Tracker, Josh Ninke, Wave News.
Josh, thank you, and thank you for being brave enough to head out there and check out the roads for yourself. But right now, our Metro traffic cameras are showing the interstates are looking good. As he mentioned, it's those side roads, those neighborhood roads that are really going to cause you issues this morning. Plus, our bridges, overpasses, and ramps, you need to be careful of those. And you can kind of see some of the slush there on the Kennedy Bridge. I'm sure that seems to be the slushiest area, but right now, everything else looks all clear. That shine there probably just a little bit wet, but please be extra careful for black ice. A couple of cars pulled over along I-264 and then I-65 there, and everything else is looking green right now. It looks like everything is all good, so fingers crossed, and hopefully people can stay home from work, give some extra time for those road crews to get out there and do some extra work this morning. Shannon?
Thanks, Olivia. Well, many schools and businesses closed again today. JCPS actually decided yesterday they would be closed today as well as tomorrow. The Louisville Archdiocese schools also closed today. To see a full list of all of the school and business closings, go to wave3.com. Now, even with those plows and road crews working very long hours, some roads still not looking so great. We saw a lot of people, even some of our co-workers, they had to dig out of the snow and ice. Some people say they wanted to head out to get some groceries. There was a TARC bus that even got stuck in the snow. Now, the mess may not look too deep in many places, but it's really the layering of the snow and then the ice and then the additional snow that came down too, and then the low temps making it really hard for anything to be cleared up. And difficult for some drivers and pedestrians. First responders say if you have to go out, make sure your tires are properly inflated. Remember that spare too. And snow tires are really good for these conditions if you have them. Your battery is also negatively impacted by the cold, so make sure you have a good charging system or some jumper cables. And it's a good idea to check your wipers too and top off that wiper fluid with a winter grade mixture. First responders say if you do head out and you're stranded, that's why it's good to prepare.
If people are out on the roadway and become stranded, they may be there for a little bit. The safest place for them to remain is inside the vehicle. Make sure their vehicles are topped off with fuel. And also make sure if they do become stranded that their exhaust pipes are free of blockages and obstructions.
If you are in a crash and you need to call 911, officials say your wait time could be longer than normal. And if you are in a crash and no one is hurt, there's an online form for non-injury crashes. You can find the link to that on LMPD's social media pages. Southern Indiana road teams have also been working overtime to clear all those roads. As of last night, Indiana State Police say they responded to more than 200 calls on the roadways since Sunday. Most of those were to help stuck drivers. 46 calls were for vehicles that slid off the road, and 45 were crashes that caused damage. People were hurt in 22 of those crashes. Some drivers we spoke to say they had to stay at a hotel because they were worried about the road situation.
It takes less effort to stay here for a day or two than it does to deal with getting your car repaired and maybe getting your body repaired if you end up in an accident.
INDOT says the interstate conditions are much better today, but they still say stay home if you can. We're continuing to keep track of the power outages, too. Huge improvement from yesterday. This taking a look at the Kentucky Cooperative map right now. It shows power companies across the state and tracks their outages, and more than 20,000 are without power. Most of those are in the far east and west parts of our state. The counties in our area with a higher number of power outages are Spencer and Bullitt counties. And taking a look at the outage map for LG&E and KU, you can see they have about 2,500 customers without power. Yesterday at the height, it was a little more than 20,000, so they have been very busy working very hard. So good news there. TARC says it's focused on returning to normal service as soon as possible. Some routes will be returned to service today. TARC says it plans to return service to 6 of their core routes. These are those listed right here, and others will be added as staffing levels and road conditions improve. And they're also offering free rides to warming shelters. Transportation leaders say that service will be offered as long as temperatures are below 35 degrees. And one thing to watch out for when it gets so cold, frozen pipes. It's important because you may not know there's an issue until the weather warms up and the pipe bursts. So what can you do to try to prevent that? Make sure any access to crawl spaces are closed. Keep a steady drip of water on some of your faucets, and if your pipes do freeze, shut your water off, wait for them to thaw on their own, or call a plumber. Well, Governor Andy Beshear held a press conference yesterday, and with road crews working around the clock, he gave an update to the Commonwealth.
And the most important thing that people can do today is to stay home and to stay safe, to let us do as much work possible, to let us clear as many roads, to let us treat the roads for salt, to let us deal with the 1 to 3 inches of snow that's expected throughout the rest of the day, and to let the utility companies restore power to as many people as possible.
The governor also said he expects state offices to reopen today, and the Kentucky legislature will convene today as planned. The governor is expected to provide another update on how the state is doing at noon today. The FreeWave weather app will help you manage that winter weather. You can get updates too on traffic before you head out the door. Plus, Wave Weather Now is the area's only 24/7 weather streaming service. You can also find that right on the app. Here's Tawana taking a look at the next 12 hours.
And as we head over the next 12, we are going to see more of those clouds returning to the region, highs only in the 20s. And as we head over the next couple of days, we are going to stay well below freezing. In fact, some of you may not get out of the teens over the next 2 days. I'll explain why after the break.
So all that cold weather this week, your heater working overtime. A state program will help those who might be in danger of losing service. Also, travelers should be prepared for delayed and canceled flights this week. There were so many flights canceled yesterday. We'll take a look at the status of flights from Muhammad Ali International Airport, plus how they're working to clear those runways coming up.
Now, Wave News.
Your furnace is really going to get a workout over the next couple of days, and if you need help paying your utility bill, this is what you can do. The application period opens today for Kentucky's Emergency Heating Assistance Crisis Program. Kentucky's community action agencies will start accepting applications for the Low-Income Home Energy Assistance Program. To qualify, you have to live in Jefferson County, fall within the income guidelines, and be in danger of having your LG&E power turned off. Applications will be taken on a first-come, first-served basis through Wednesday, January 15th. And really, we're all going to be having those heaters working overtime.
Yeah, and they will be dealing with that for an extended amount of time, which could cause more issues that way as well. So make sure you are taking safety precautions with that. As of right now, not a whole lot going on across our area. We do have that steady northerly wind coming off of the Great Lakes, and because of that, we're seeing some of these clouds continuing to drift into and through wave country. But we are getting some clearing in those clouds right along and to the north of the Ohio River, and that is going to contribute to some slightly cooler temperatures in those spots. The storm tracker out on the roads, notice most of our roadways looking fine, but you can still see some of that shine there on the side of the road, so that means that could be some ice that you may have to contend with in some spots. So please take it slow. Even if the roads look good in your area, you still want to make sure that you're taking precautions. What we're dealing with across the region right now, those temperatures mainly in the 20s, a little bit colder in those spots where we have seen some of that clearing. So it's 23 degrees in Madison, but 19 in Seymour, 22 now in Nacordon, 25 at the airport in Louisville. We're going to be watching those temperatures dropping a little bit more towards sunrise, more of these clouds moving in from the north as the rest of the morning goes along. We'll keep them around as we head into the afternoon, with highs today only in the 20s. For later on this evening, especially once we get past sunset and closer to midnight, some flurries will start to fly across our area, and with those flurries flying, we do have to keep an eye on the potential for a little bit of a dusting because of the temperatures so cold heading into Wednesday morning. In fact, a lot of us will wake up to temperatures in the upper single digits and the low teens. Those single digits are a little bit more likely for those of you in Indiana. No matter where you are, though, single digits or teens is still going to be cold as those flurries continue to fly by for Wednesday morning. As we get into Wednesday afternoon, we do dry out quite a bit, with some of these clouds trying to break apart even more for the second half of your Wednesday, and with that continuing into Thursday morning with the snowbank still on the ground, we are talking about temperatures near zero to start off Thursday. That is actual temperatures, not wind chill. gales. Thankfully, we are not expecting strong winds Thursday morning, so that is why we don't have an alert day for any dangerous cold then. But still going to be very cold across the area, with some of us waking up to temperatures below zero, especially in southern Indiana. The alert day still in place for your Friday as this area of low pressure marches off towards the northeast. Now, most of the precipitation looks to stay to our south, but we do have enough of that moving through for the second half of your Friday into very early Saturday morning that we are going to be talking about some accumulations across our area for that time frame, and that is something we will watch very, very closely. This time around, it does look like Kentucky will get the brunt of some of those accumulations across our region. Getting into the upcoming weekend, we will see some sunshine trying to come back our way, and temperatures will do their best to climb, only ending up, though, in the upper 20s and the low 30s, most of us staying below the freezing mark through the weekend and into next week. A few flurries and light snow showers possible on Monday, but right now that chance is low, and we'll keep an eye on more of that cold through the majority of next week.
All right, thanks, Tawana. President Joe Biden and the First Lady grieved with families and community members in New Orleans just days after the truck attack that killed 14 people. They visited the growing makeshift memorial on New Orleans' Bourbon Street. They put down a bouquet of flowers at the base of crosses on the sidewalk, and they met privately with families, survivors, first responders, and law enforcement who've been impacted by the attack. The president shared some reflection and offered words of compassion as well.
I know events like this are hard when the shock and pain is still so very raw. My wife Jill and I are here to stand with you, to grieve with you, to pray with you, to let you know you are not alone. The rest of the nation is looking at you as well.
During the vigil, the President and First Lady placed a single candle at the altar. It was described as a candle for our nation, as a sign of our solidarity and grief and unity and hope. The FBI says the New Orleans terrorist attacker went to the city twice before the attack and recorded video of Bourbon Street using Meta smart glasses. The FBI released video showing Shamsuddin Jabbar wearing the glasses and what he recorded. The FBI says Jabbar visited New Orleans at the end of October and then again in November, just weeks before police say he plowed into people celebrating New Year's, killing 14 people there. He wore the smart glasses to record video as he rode a bicycle through the French Quarter. A Meta spokesperson says the company is in touch with law enforcement. Costco is recalling cold and flu medicine because it may have been contaminated. The recall impacts Kirkland Signature Severe Cold and Flu plus congestion medicine that was purchased between October 30th and November 30th of last year. A recall was issued out of an abundance of caution due to potential foreign material contamination. More details on that contamination, though, were not released. No illnesses have been reported, but Costco is asking customers with this product to return it to the store for a full refund. New on Sunrise, President-elect Donald Trump is seeking to block the release of special counsel Jack Smith's report. Here's Olivia with more in this breaking news alert.
Lawyers for Trump and his co-defendants said the report was a, quote, one-sided narrative. Trump's lawyers said they reviewed a 2-volume draft copy of Smith's report over the weekend. The report has to do with the Florida classified documents case, and it also addresses the election interference case. Both of those cases against Trump have been dismissed. Attorney General Merrick Garland has said he plans to provide lawmakers with a redacted report. Smith and his team plan to resign before Trump takes office on January 20th. We'll be right back with more Sunrise right after this.
Here's a look at the current Kentucky Lottery jackpots. The Kentucky Lottery, over $5 billion in grants and scholarships.
Well, if you are heading out somewhere, heading to the airport, you might want to check that flight status. Some flights resumed normal procedures yesterday. Louisville International Airport says travelers should be ready for the possibility of more delays this week. Airport leaders say their snow team has been working around the clock, keeping those runways clear. So check those status, they say, through Thursday morning. Let's take a live look right now at the airport's website. Oh, you can see that flight to Miami has been been pushed back, and there are still quite a few that have been canceled, heading to Chicago, also Detroit, Houston. So if you are flying out, be sure to check that status. Sunday and Monday around the country, 2,200 flights were canceled and 3,500 flights were delayed. And in fact, a friend of mine, she had posted on social media trying to get back to Louisville, stuck in all places. Hawaii.
Well, that wasn't that bad.
Yeah, she's like, let it snow.
She's fine. She could just bring the rest of us with her. That's what should happen, right? For those of you planning to travel, keep in mind that between today, tomorrow, and Thursday, not too bad travel-wise in terms of flying. With the roads, we're going to be watching things improving as more of these crews get out and about. But we are going to be talking about some clouds overhead for this afternoon. Highs in the 20s, staying mainly in the teens for Wednesday and Thursday. An alert day out for the system moving through on Friday. That will bring more snow into our area. But by the way, if you're flying on Friday, especially if your connecting hub is Atlanta, they could see some impacts from this system as well. So that could have ripple effects across the entire country. Getting into Saturday and Sunday, warming up just a bit, trying to climb closer to the freezing mark. But that's mainly for the metro. Most of us just going to be stuck in the 20s through the weekend. And we're going to see more of those 20s and 30s in the forecast for next week.
Thanks, Tawana. The Cards looking to keep their winning streak alive tonight. They'll host Clemson. The Cards are on a 4-game winning streak after winning at Virginia over the weekend. Clemson comes into this game having not dropped a game in the ACC this season. U of L head coach Pat Kelsey says he wants his team to take it one game at a time.
I just look at it, what do we have in front of us right now, and let's be great at it. Obviously, the last couple games we played really well at Virginia, but staying true to what I'm saying, that Virginia game when the buzzer sounded, it's thinking over. And we got to turn our page, turn our attention to an unbelievably talented, big physical, and well-coached Clemson team.
The Tigers have never won in Louisville, though, as the Cards hold a perfect 8-0 record at home. Tip-off set for 7 o'clock tonight at the KFC Yum Center. And UK looking to pick up their first road win of the year. The Cats traveling to Georgia. They'll face the Bulldogs tonight. Head coach Mark Pope's squad jumped to number 6 in the AP poll after beating Florida over the weekend. Pope says his team learned quite a bit from that game.
We learned that we got to get a lot more physical. We learned that we got to, it's going to be like a life or death fight on the boards every single night. We learned that we're going to have to be really creative, changing the way we guard throughout the game.
Georgia is coming off a road loss to Ole Miss. The Cats and Bulldogs tip off at 7 tonight. It's 6:27 right now, and many kids still out of school, but maybe you have to head to work today. We're going to take a look at those road conditions. Our storm tracker has been out and about this morning as those crews have been busy treating the roads.
Now, Wade News Sunrise.
Oh, yes, still below freezing. And yesterday, meteorologist Brian Good, who's growing a little beard, said he's not going to shave it until it gets above freezing. And I said, well, that's going to be quite a beard.
It might be until February, honestly.
Wow. I mean, I don't know if he meant it sincerely.
I really hope he does. I love the beard. I love that. So maybe we can keep it going. Maybe we can keep it going throughout winter. The storm tracker out on the roads right now, and what we're seeing still, a lot of these roads have been treated, but some of those side streets where we're still going to be running into some issues this morning. So just a heads up on that. The cold temperature is not helping. We're continuing watching some of these clouds trying to clear this morning as temperatures are mainly sitting in the low to mid 20s. So for those of you who have to walk those dogs this morning, keep in mind, yes, it is going to be very cold for you and them, so make sure they're staying as warm as possible too. But at least we get some sunshine around to start off the day. For some of us, the clouds do return as we get into the afternoon hours, and that means we're not going to be warming up too much, mainly talking upper 20s for highs for later on today. Once we get into the next couple of days, much colder for both through Wednesday and Thursday. In the metro, we could see some low 20s, but for the majority of us, only highs in the teens for the middle of the week. So even colder air coming into our region for the next few days. Shannon.
Thank you, Tawana. So it's not snowing anymore. Good news, but some of those roads can still be a little tricky. Crews have been working very hard this morning, treating and plowing. I saw 2 plows this morning, but it's those side streets that are still difficult. Josh Ninke has been out and about in the Storm Tracker, taking a look at things. And where are you right now?
Yeah, so Shannon, I'm over here by Shawnee Park on West Broadway. We're going to keep driving down the way here a bit. And you can see this is another section that, yeah, they've done a pretty good job plowing out and treating these road areas. But you can see off to the side some of these vehicles are still pretty plowed / ice / snowed in. We've actually got a snow plow that was working over here to the left of us. It's driving a little far away, but that's fine. We'll keep going along on this route, heading straight Flynn. Now, here's a thing that I want you guys to pay attention to. There's a lot of these sidewalks that are still very difficult to walk on. So what we're running into is a lot of people who are choosing to not walk on the sidewalks and try to sludge through the ice and the snow. Instead, they're choosing to walk on these treated roads. So as you're getting out this morning, I want you to be extra careful for any pedestrians that you might be seeing out on the roads here today. Now, we talked to some folks yesterday who got out and tested the roads ahead of potentially going to work today, and they had a bit of a hard time.
The roads were hazardous. I think I have an all-wheel drive. It's old, but it works. The most hazardous part is the other people on the roads and the ice, of course. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. It was an experiment. I just drove 2 blocks to see how work would be tomorrow, and I wish I hadn't.
It's an experiment that I think a lot of people tried to make yesterday, and yeah, it's just going to be another tough day out there because there's still tons of ice and snow out here on the road. So please, if you don't have to, stay home because it's still not great on a lot of those side streets. Live here in the Storm Tracker, Josh Ninke, Wave News.
Josh, thank you. Yeah, the side streets giving people issues, but right now it looks like our interstates are looking pretty clear. They've been working out there with the plows and the salt trucks I want to say all night, but even before then, and it looks like it's paid off because everything is looking pretty good, and it looks like people are able to stick to their speeds. 51 miles per hour at 64 at the junction, 51 at 71 at Zorn Avenue. But we do have a traffic alert for you right now, a report of a crash on I-264. This is going eastbound. It looks like it is near Newburgh Road, so they have the left lane blocked and the left-hand shoulder blocked there. We tried to check the traffic camera, but it was frozen over because of all that ice that came down, so we're not able to get a great look at this, but hopefully it won't be out there too long and they can get this cleared up. Shannon.
Thanks, Olivia. Well, some people are still dealing with power outages this morning, but it's a whole lot better than it was yesterday. LG&E says they're working to restore electricity to about 2,500 customers across the state. And this is a look at Salt River electric outage map. Right now, they have nearly 4,000 customers without power. Many of those are in Bullitt and Spencer counties. The utility company says it does not have estimates on when power will be fully restored. As the temperatures plummet, power companies expect conditions to get worse for the icier areas. That means power outages could fluctuate as crews continue to work on those lines. If you don't have power and it's really cold, there are warming shelters available. Some counties have opened these to help those without power or without a home. In Bullitt County, Hillview City Hall has around 90 cots, so people also have somewhere to sleep.
Very clean, very safe, very warm, and they got great hearts here.
Since, the weather is so terribly bad right now, we're just trying to get people off the street, give them a place to, warm up, get some warm food in their bellies.
There are also warming shelters available in Louisville. Hope International AOH Church of God on Algonquin Parkway is open through Friday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Exodus Family Ministries is on Cane Run Road, and they're open today from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. They're open tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday from 9 to 4, and there will also be warming space at neighborhood places during normal business hour. For more details, you can go to wave3.com. Health leaders are reminding people if you're out there shoveling the snow to be careful because the Anchorage Middletown Fire Department and EMS says they took one man to the hospital. He had collapsed while shoveling snow near LaGrange Road. A neighbor saw him collapse and stepped in and did CPR. He was resuscitated and taken to the hospital. Health leaders say it's important to take breaks when you're out there shoveling because of overexertion.
When it snows this heavy, you are forced to do it to be able to get out of your house, to be able to function. So you will be forced to typically increase your activity more than you typically would, and that could unmask your symptoms that have been there but you've not been noticing in the past.
And doctors say it's also good to stretch and wear layers when you're heading out there to do any shoveling. First responders also say watch out for fires during the cold, because not only can things like space heaters cause a fire, the weather makes battling fires really hard for the firefighters. Firefighters from local departments had to battle the elements while putting out this fire yesterday. Zone 10 Fire says it happened on Knob Creek Road, and while trying to put out the flames, crews had to deal with cold temperatures, difficult terrain to walk on, plus frozen hoses and hydrants. No one was hurt in this fire. The American Red Cross also says be careful with space heaters and fireplaces, and keep anything that could catch on fire at least 3 feet away from the source. Avoid using candles because of the fire risk, and use battery-powered lights and flashlights instead. Never heat your home with a cooking oven or stove. Only use generators, grills, and camp stoves outside and away from windows. And you can download that free Wave Weather app ahead of the next round of winter weather that is coming later this week. You can also watch Wave Weather Now. It's the only 24/7 weather stream in our area. It's 6:38. Here's Tawana.
And as we head over the next 12 hours, we're talking 20s for highs, more clouds rolling in for the afternoon, a cold day. But we're getting even colder as we get into later on this week. I'll let you know when many of us will wake up to temperatures near zero after the break.
Well, while the winter storm has certainly impacted travel, those who are able to get out and walk were able to have some fun snow traditions. We want to thank all of our viewers for sending us these great pictures. Look at that snowman. That is huge. That's awesome. Others said they were dreaming of white sand beaches rather than the white snow. I love that. Look at that. That must have been really cold. I hope they took that picture quickly. Some made the classic choice of sledding down their streets or hills for some fun. And this video was sent in of people sledding in Crestwood. Let's see how they do. Woo! Going pretty fast. Oh, yeah, how fun. There are lots of places, wow, even snowboarding, where you can sled in the metro, and you can find the full list on wave3.com. Louisville Parks and Recreation designated these sledding hills at 5 parks. That's Cherokee. That's where I went to Dog Hill. It was a blast. Joe Creason, George Rogers Clark, McNeely Lake, and Charlie Ventnor. So super fun. An Indiana man is continuing his tradition of spreading kindness during this storm. While many decided just to stay home, Anderson York, decided to volunteer his services. He took to Facebook on Sunday saying, hey, if anyone's in this Indianapolis neighborhood and you need help shoveling or clearing your driveway, he can come and help. He doesn't charge anything. He says he's doing this since 2020, and while the shoveling may not be the best part, he says he loves to see people smile when he's finished.
I also put on there, if you have a friend that you know is too stubborn to ask, shoot me a message and I'll come and I'll show up, shovel their snow, and then run away without ever being seen. I did get caught at the last one though, so I had to say what I was doing. Anytime you get to help a neighbor, someone else, any other Hoosier, it feels like you're doing your part and your best.
Wow, what a nice guy. As of yesterday afternoon, he said he had shoveled 8 homes in his neighborhood. He needs to get a snowblower, though. Make it easier on him. My back hurts just thinking about that, shoveling 8 homes.
That is quite a workout. Just trying to clear off my husband's car yesterday, I was like, I'm just helping, and this is a lot. So that is amazing what he's doing out there.
It certainly is. Yeah, I know. We've all been trying to prepare our homes with the cold, especially the very cold that's coming.
Yeah, so anyone getting ready, just make sure you have those blankets ready to go. I'll talk about when we'll be near zero for a low temperature in just 30 seconds. Good morning. morning, everyone. We're debating in the studio how warm is too warm for your home. But what we're seeing right now is, of course, those cold temperatures outside. Temperatures in the teens and the 20s across our region. 17 degrees in Salem, 23 into Hardinsburg, seeing 24 degrees right now in Bardstown, 25 at the airport in Louisville. The storm tracker still heading out and about. You can see a lot of these roads are pretty well treated, but at the side of the roadway, still some of that ice out there, so you want to make sure that you're being extra careful as you're traveling this morning if you have to travel. Now, we are seeing some of the clouds still trying to clear in some spots, especially as we get towards sunrise. This could help to drop our temperatures a little bit more in those locations with those clearer skies, but overall, the clouds further to the north will fill right back in as the day goes along, and that's exactly what our Futurecast shows as we continue throughout the rest of your Tuesday with highs today in the 20s. And for later on this evening, some flurries will fly, and we'll keep an eye on those through the overnight hours. With these flurries flying, temperatures easily will drop getting into your Wednesday morning. We're talking about tomorrow morning's temperatures in the single digits and the low teens across the majority of our area. So if you think it's cold this morning, is going to be even colder heading into tomorrow morning. And those flurries will continue to fly throughout the morning hours. We could see a little bit of a quick dusting since it's so cold with those flurries flying, but overall not much expected with that. Then the clouds will clear as we get into your Wednesday night, allowing temperatures to get even colder heading into Thursday morning. So for those of you who have more of that snow on the ground, you're going to be colder than other areas that don't, especially into Thursday morning when we see those temperatures near or below zero, especially for those of you along and north of 64. For those of you further to the south of the parkways, you're going to be seeing your temperatures more in the mid to upper single digits at that point in time. Getting into Friday, we're talking about some cold air overall, highs only in the 20s. Then, as we see another system rolling in, bringing some more of that accumulating snow for the second half of your Friday into early on Saturday morning. Yes, we could see some of that snow sticking in many spots, especially for those of you across Kentucky, since you're going to be a little bit closer to the core of that low and you have a little bit more of that moisture in your area. So a lot to watch as we get into your Friday and early Saturday. The timing of this low, the track of this low will be key. If it goes a little bit further to the south, it will cut down on some of those snowfall totals in some locations. So we'll have to watch for that. The weekend looking quiet, but still cold with temperatures in most locations below the freezing mark. And as we head into next week, we're still going to struggle to even make it anywhere near the freezing mark for most of next week. So a very cold stretch showing up over the next 10 days.
Thanks, Tawana. A Kentucky man charged in the death of two men will be back in court. Dustin Caudle was arrested in October after police found 41-year-old Blake France and 43-year-old Anthony Garrett dead in a house. The Hardin County house had been set on fire. Both men had been shot. Officers say Caudle admitted to shooting the two men, starting the fire on purpose, and taking their wallets. In 1944, Caudle was convicted of killing his mother and brother. He's now being held in the Hardin County Detention Center. Well, back to work for Kentucky lawmakers today. It's the start of this year's legislative session. This year, it's a short 30-day session. For the first time in more than a decade, the Kentucky Senate will have a new Republican floor leader. Campbellsville Senator Max Wise is taking over for Damon Thayer, who did not run for re-election. Wise says addressing tax reform, artificial intelligence, and workforce retention are part of his policy goals. And Indiana lawmakers return to session tomorrow. Lawmakers will have to create a new two-year budget. The more than $44 billion budget will impact everything from public safety to education and health care in the state. Lawmakers also will work with the new governor. Republican Mike Braun will be sworn into office next Monday. Here's Olivia taking a look at the big stories we're following from around the country and the world today.
Medical debt could soon be removed from credit reports. The Biden administration has announced an initiative to remove an estimated $49 billion in medical debts from credit reports of roughly 15 million Americans. The new rule from the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau would ban the inclusion of medical bills on credit reports and would bar lenders from using medical information when they make lending decisions. The average American with medical debt on a credit report could see their credit score rise by nearly 20 points. In his final visit to Japan, Secretary Antony Blinken sought to strengthen relations with the country. He met with Japan's prime minister while he was there. Their relations led to a major arms sales approval announced last week, under which the U.S. would deliver billions in medium-range missiles, related equipment, and training to Japan. Secretary Blinken will wrap up his trip in Paris, meeting with French officials to discuss developments in the Middle East and European security. And Donald Trump Jr. is visiting Greenland right now. His father made that announcement on social media. The visit comes after the president-elect suggested that the U.S. should open the door to buying the island. Now, Trump Jr. isn't scheduled to meet with any officials while he's there, but it's certainly raising some eyebrows. Those are some of your top headlines. Shannon will have more local news coming up in your Wake Up Watch list.
Well, if you need to head out on the road this morning, go to work or run an errand, some of those side roads could still give you some problems. Josh Ninke out in the storm tracker right now, but you said a lot of the roads looking pretty good.
Such a different story from yesterday, Shannon. We're here on Waterston heading eastbound right now. You can see they have done a fantastic job of plowing and salting and taking care of treating these roads. We've seen more plows out today. And here's the thing, with a lot of these people actually on the road, you want to be particularly careful when you get out yourself. You want to make sure that you are clearing off your car completely, even that ice and snow that's on top of your vehicle. Most of the people I'm seeing here today have been doing it right. Tawana was doing the math a little bit earlier. If you have ice or snow on top of your car, that can be anywhere from 10 to 30 pounds of ice. And if you slam on the brakes and that goes skidding, that could cause some real trouble out on the roads. Now, you're seeing here on the highways and whatnot, things are looking great, but it's really the start and finish of your routes that will probably be a little bit difficult. I had some trouble again today, but I did, in fact, make it into work under my own power. It was a nice little way to start the day. But yeah, so please, there's still a lot of ice that has glazed over overnight yet again. That probably didn't even melt or get any kind of finish at all yesterday. So please be careful if you have to get out and about today, because while it looks great on the highways, that is not true everywhere. Live here in the Storm Tracker, Josh Ninke, Wave News.
Thank you, Josh. So this is why JCPS decided that they would stay closed today and tomorrow. Also, Jefferson County Catholic schools are also closed today. You can see the full list on wave3.com. Some businesses also are closed as well. And taking a look at the power outages, huge improvement from yesterday. This is a Kentucky cooperative map. Power companies across the states and tracks their outages, and more than 20,000 without power right now. But as you can see, that's most in the far east and west parts of the state. LG&E reporting about 2,500 customers without power. And here is Tawana right now, and not going to warm up much today at all.
Even as we see some sunshine trying to get through the clouds in some spots this morning, we're still mainly talking about those cold temperatures. Looking at downtown Louisville, we could see those clouds overhead on a SkyTrack camera. Also watching some of those clouds trying to clear on a satellite and radar to start off the day. Our temperatures are mainly in the 20s for this morning, and as we head over the next 12 hours, what we're going to be seeing some more of that sunshine trying to get through the clouds for the morning hours for many of us. As we get into the afternoon, we're keeping those clouds overhead with highs in the 20s. Now, as we look ahead to the next 10 days, we are going to be talking about a little bit more of that colder air for Wednesday and Thursday. The alert day still in place for Friday because of the snow in the forecast then.
We have a traffic alert for you right now. A report of a crash on I-65 northbound of the ramp to I-264. It looks like police have the left 2 lanes of that ramp blocked off, so keep an eye out for that. Down to just 1 lane in that area, slowing things down on our traffic map. Another crash on I-264 eastbound near Newburgh Road. The rest of our metro traffic cameras, though, are showing our speeds are looking pretty normal, but please don't be overly confident out there. It's okay if you want to drive a little bit slow this morning. Be aware of that black ice.
Yes. And give people space.
Yes. Please.
Right?
Please.
Yes. I know. All right, have a great day. Today's show's next.
Get live streaming news, 24-hour weather, investigations, podcasts, and more, all for free with Wave Now. Sponsored by Menards. Save big money at Menards.